All right, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Good day and welcome to this exclusive interview we are recording right now in Kano State at the residence of Alhaji Adamu Aliyu Kiyawa. He was a journalist. He worked for the BBC. He did a lot of things when he was young and when he was growing up. He later became a commissioner in Jigawa State. He is right now Dan Masanin Dutse, and we're here to talk about his life when he was young, when he was growing up, and also the achievements that he has recorded. At the end of the day, compare them with what is currently happening right now in this contemporary era. The main purpose and aim of this interview is for young people to learn a lesson from those highly experienced people who lived a very good life and are teaching us a lot of things in one way or the other. My name is Umar Isa Dandago, and this is the headliner on Mikiya TV. All right, like I said, our guest today is Alhaji Adamu Aliyu Kiyawa, and we are currently here with him. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Dandago. Viewers, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, thank you for allowing us to record in your house, a very beautiful one.
Well, if you call it so, it is my pleasure anyway receiving you.
You're welcome, sir. So let's get started. Before we dive deeply into the crux of the conversation, let's get to hear a little bit about yourself. How did you start?
Well, I started as having been born in 1957. 1957, that is 67 years now.
Oh, mashallah.
And my mother died while I was about, I think, 4. And with my siblings, 2 elder sisters and 1 younger brother, were then taken to my maternal grandmother to take care of us. And so we have been there, and life was good in the sense that it was a large family. Actually, up to now, it is being called Babangida in Kiyawa because of the size and the number of people in that family. So it was very exciting. And our grandmother, we lived well, and because of the number of people, including kids, we were always busy doing something or the other. By the age of 4, we were already going to the farm. In fact, by the age of 6, I think I had my own small farm.
Wow.
I remember I grew groundnuts on that farm at the age of 6. So it was very exciting. And also because my dad was teaching in the primary school, at the age of 5, 6, he used to send someone to collect me and take me to the school. I wasn't enrolled in school then, but I would be taken to the back seat of primary one, I could remember. And I learned a lot before I eventually enrolled in school in 1965.
Okay, 5 years after the independence.
5 years after independence, I was enrolled in school, in primary school. And I think because of that exposure of being placed in primary one, and just listening, I was not an active participant in the class.
Passive participant.
But I think it helped me greatly. By the time I was enrolled in school, I was by far the most, I would try to say brilliant. But I think, I understood the subject matters being taught more than anybody else.
Because some of the topics were serving as a revision.
Yeah, exactly. Because, for example, I started knowing the alphabets. I started knowing some timetable, like a multiplication table. Like I could do 2, I could do 5, I could do 10 because they were easy. They're easy.
Great.
So that gave me a lot of advantage. By the time I was going into grade or primary 3, I was already 9. So I was taken back to my dad's house and started living there. That was very exciting too. It was hectic. Even though as a young person, I never saw it as hectic, in the sense that the entire day was occupied doing one thing or the other.
So you were not spoiled by your grandmother, first of all?
No, my grandmother was tough. No. She actually
was instrumental in making you busy?
Yes, she actually never behaved, sort of. Never acted like a grandmother. Because, I mean, she would allow me to go to the farm, she would allow me to go to and fetch the water, and she was doing this local dadawa, and I would be the one every evening to take it at 4 o'clock to take it to the households around to sell. And I used hawking, yes.
Oh,
and
you
I
did
used,
that?
oh yes, not the door for the door, yes. And I used to target large families, so that if I went into a large family, a large compound where there are about 4, 5 families inside, I would be sure to get 5 customers.
Wow.
So any family, any household that was just maybe one person in there, I would just keep it. And before you know it, in 1 hour, I had sold everything. And
so you were strategic.
I was strategic in choosing where to go and hawk the dawa.
Yes,
you understand?
But you're not hawking on the street.
No, not on the street. I was targeting households. I would go into the houses, and then each household will pick the number, the amount they want and pay me, and then go to the next large house. Even if I have to skip about 5 houses that are small, I will skip those 5 houses. I will not go in, because in one house, if I go through the 5 houses, I may get 2 or 3 that may buy. Or 1, but if I go to a house with 5 or 6, I may get about 4 or 5 that will buy.
That was what made you strategic.
Yes.
But one important thing that I want to ask you, apart from the strategy, is that right now a lot of parents are concerned, and people outside, not even parents, people in general are concerned about children hawking, especially on the street, because of the issue of morality and so on and so forth. At that time, wasn't there any threat, any moral threat to the children hawking?
There wasn't any moral threat, and I tell you that in everything there could be problems, there could be disadvantages. The most important thing, I don't quarrel with hawking, because it has helped me to eventually engage in small, tiny businesses, and later in big businesses. That's why I tell people that if you find anybody who is educated and in business, find out his background. One or two things must have happened. Either his parents were in business and he watched them and developed interest, or he himself was a hawker. As it happened to him. You understand? So that's how people develop business. If you don't expose them at early kids. So the most important thing is to find those wrong things that happen in any particular thing. Not to say that particular thing is bad, but find out what is wrong with it, and find what is wrong with it and remove it, and then leave the best.
So to you, children hawking is not a problem.
It's not a problem in any case. In any case, with the poverty level that we have, remember that most of these kids hawk because that is a major source of income for the family.
But right now, there are many children who hawk and do not go to school because of the hawking.
No. I don't encourage anybody to go to hawk without going to school. The priority issue for every child is for them to go to school. But after school, what do you do with their life? Go and play football, or what?
Watch TV.
TV, and then that kills your productivity. So by the time I was taken back home to my father's house at 9, the routine every day was first to sweep the outside of the compound, the frontage of the compound, and then get ready to go to school. And I was early enough in going to school every day that I was the one ringing the bell every day.
So you were the timekeeper?
Even though I was not appointed as a timekeeper. There was a timekeeper. I was only in primary 3. There was a timekeeper who was in class 7. But I used to go to the school earlier than the timekeeper. In fact, there were times when, because there used to be a house, staff houses, very close to the school. Sometimes it was after even I go to the school that one of the teachers will come out and give me a bucket to go and fetch water for him to take bath and come to the school. But I was already in the school.
So you used to be earlier than many teachers?
Earlier than anybody else. That is why I used to ring the bell.
And were you excited ringing the bell?
Oh, of course.
Was it because of ringing the bell that you used to be early?
No, not really. I used to be there just as part of nature, I think, because I would wake up very early, and immediately after school at 2 o'clock, by the time we got home, we take lunch, and then we go and fetch water. My younger brother and myself, we go and fetch water and fill up all the containers in the house. We finish that by about 3:34, and by 4 o'clock we are at the Quranic school.
Makarantar Allo?
Makarantar Allo, yes. We are about the only persons who were resident in Kiyawa in that Makarantar Allo.
Most of them,
because by tradition, most students of Makarantar Allo, Quranic schools are from somewhere else.
Yes, definitely.
So we're with some other kids there. And
so your classmates were from different states?
Yes, from different parts of the
region at that time.
Yes. So we by 6 o'clock we would get back home. By 8 o'clock we were back at the Quranic school.
Oh, so 2 sessions?
2 sessions.
One in the evening,
and one in the evening,
and the other one
in the afternoon.
In the
yes. One in the evening.
Oh yes,
yes.
And,
and by 10 o'clock we were back home, and all we needed to do was to go and sleep. We're tired, you know, and that's how it continued. By the time I got a little bit wiser, then my dad asked me to go and hawk every Friday. So I'll go and take this fanke.
Oh,
it's like snack. First, he asked us, or he directed us, that's my younger brother and myself, to be sweeping every Friday the Juma mosque, the Friday mosque, just in front of our house.
Oh, yes.
You know, just a few steps from our house. So the ones who every day, and at that time there was no schooling on Friday. The weekend started on Thursday during that time. Thursday and Friday and Saturday was the beginning of the week. So Friday you had nothing to do. Thursday you close early around 12 o'clock. So we'll bring all the mats from the mosque and sweep it, and then shake the mats and dust it off and take it back. Then by immediately after Juma prayer, I will go and take that chin or fanke or whatever, and take it to the market, because Kiyawa's market day was Friday. Oh yes. So I'll take it to the market, and by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I sold it off, and I'll take the balance and then get my commission, 1 shilling for every 10 shillings. That's 10%. Okay. So 10% started a long time ago, but you have to earn it. Yes. Yeah, definitely. You have to earn it. And you did earn it. And I did earn it. That was when 1960. That was from about 1967. Okay, 67. About 1968 actually. 68 was when I was in primary 3. Okay. So from about 1968 onwards, and then on Thursdays, because in the evening, because there was no Quranic school on Thursdays. Yeah, no Quranic school. Yes, I would weave this local fan. Okay, yes, the hand fan. The hand fan. Oh, I'll weave it, yes. So after maybe a few weeks, I have made so many. Wow. So I'll take it to the market. Yes, on Fridays. On Fridays and sell. Oh, that's after hawking, maybe after Asr prayer. Yes. After 4 o'clock, I'll go and sell them off, and then from that time, that one when I started buying old magazines. Okay. There is this Newsweek and Time magazine. Time magazine of London? Of America. Oh, okay, America. And Newsweek. Okay. You know, which Newsweek. Okay, and from Time the magazine. US as well? US as well. Okay. Yes. So I would use part of my money to go and buy all the editions. Oh, yes. On that Friday. And I will read them throughout the week. I didn't know what I was reading, but I could read. Okay. At that time, how old were you? I'm talking about 9, 10. Okay. Yes. At the age of 9 or 10, yes, you had the ability, not ability, what's the word for it? Can I say audacity or confidence? Or wisdom. To go wisdom, yes. Yeah, better word. Yes. To go and pick up an American magazine. Exactly. And read it. Because I was looking for reading material. Okay. And every reading material given to us in school, I will read it within no time. Wow. And there are no much books available. At that time, yes. And so eventually, when I became a little bit older, my dad used to send me to his box to pick things for him. He'll give me the key to his box, one large wooden box. Yeah. His box at home or in his own room. Okay, yes. In his own room. And then I started seeing books, because he retired from teaching the year I was enrolled in school. Oh, yes. But I didn't know he had those books until he started sending me to pick things from his box. And so I saw those books. And so I took the books one after the other and read all. With his permission or without his permission? With his permission, of course. Okay. Hausa and English. Oh. Magana Jari, I read Magana Jari 1 to 3 before I was in primary 4. Yawon Duniyar Haji Baba, Ila Dan Mai Karfi, host of books, Mungo Park, The Travels of Mungo Park, you know, which in Hausa Mungo Park, Mabudun Kwara. Yes. Host of books and other story books, mostly published in Europe, because I could remember some of the children's story books. I could remember some of the pictures of policemen and other things inside. Can you remember some of the names of the books that you read? Well, the English books I can't remember. Okay. Yes, but the Hausa books I mentioned some of them. Yes. And there were quite a a number of.
You didn't read just
after,
heartily chess at that time?
We're coming to that.
Okay.
So it was after finishing those books,
Okay.
then the urge and the thirst for reading.
Yes.
Then ignited in me.
Yes.
And there were no material to read. That was when I started buying those old Newsweek and Time magazines. You know?
I mean, how significant is it for parents to motivate, to encourage their children to start reading at early age?
It is absolutely necessary. Why do you go to school? You go to school to learn to read and write. And you can't stick to what you are taught in school, because what you are taught in school is just compulsory for you to learn it.
Yes.
And by the time you write an exam, you may forget about it. Sure. So real learning takes place outside the school. School enables you only to give you the key to open doors of knowledge. You understand?
Yes.
The education you receive in school, it is in itself is not the knowledge.
Okay.
But that which you got in school enables you to open doors of knowledge. And you have to be introduced at an early age by buying so many storybooks for you. And nowadays, with all the storybooks you can find
on the internet,
sure. Your television, it is even easier for parents to introduce their kids to reading material. And that's when kids start to learn. Because especially if you are learning a foreign language, let's say like English,
yes,
it helps you a lot in your life in terms of being able to express yourself, able to both in writing and orally.
Yes.
It enables you to actually learn so many from so many fields, so many areas of life, to the extent that you become master of all.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes, definitely.
I will not say jack of all trades, master of none, but you become master of all.
Yes, definitely.
To the extent that every topic that is brought up in every subject area, you'll be able to say
at least
something
you know
about
something in almost everything.
Exactly. And in fact, that is what education is.
Okay.
Everybody has to strive, including parents have to strive to make their kids know so much from so many different fields.
Yes.
And it is always better to know so much from different fields than to concentrate on only one area of your life.
Yes.
Because that doesn't make you educated.
Definitely.
And so that was how life in primary school. And then by primary 6, primary school was 7 years then.
Oh, at that time.
At that time.
Oh,
so in the secondary school 5 years.
Okay, yeah.
But by primary 6, I was together with 3 others of my classmates who were asked to join class 7 to sit for the common entrance exam to go to the secondary school.
At that time, we were operating based on British system, right?
No, it was not British system, but it was a national common entrance exam.
Okay.
So the child in Lagos would take the same exam as the child in Kiyawa. What students who want to go to federal government colleges take
FGC.
now, FGC. That was the exam taken by everybody in the country.
Wow.
Everybody, no matter how poor your school is, no matter how small your village is, that was the exam you had to take.
Whether you are in King's College or Queen's College?
No. It was after you take the exam that then you will be based on your marks. You will be sent to either those schools or even within the state. The schools were categorized. There was Rumfa College, for example. Even within, let's say northern region. Northern region, you will hear of Kefi and other places in Nasarawa State and Rumfa College. Exactly.
A very historic school.
Exactly. So the second category will be sent to those schools. The third category will be sent to other schools. But even in those categories, if let's say you passed federal government college and you are taken there, before you are registered, you would have to sit for their own test again.
Entry exam?
Yes.
Aptitude test?
Yes, into their own school. If you fail, you will be taken back home and then you will be taken to schools like Rumpa College or Kefi Government College.
So at that time, children or students get to schools based on merit.
Based on merit.
Not based on who you know.
That's why in any particular primary school, for example, in my own primary school, I think only 3 of us went to secondary school. Because if you don't pass, you don't pass. You don't pass. You either repeat or you leave school and go and engage in trade or go acquire skills or help your parents in the farm on the farm or something like that. But if you don't pass, nobody. You don't even go and start pleading with the school to. How do they even get the admission letter for you? Because it comes from the regional, from local from the native authority education office.
Okay.
You know, the admission letter comes from there. If
So
you don't
there is no way
there's
one
no
could
way
forge it.
there's no way one could forge it, or a principal can be bribed to take anybody without getting the admission letter, joining instruction from the native authority education office.
At that time, institutions were functional, fully functional.
They're really, well, more than functional, because if you try to tell people how functional they were, they would think that is utopian, that is not in this world. Because in primary school, you'll be given all exercise books for all the subjects. You'll be given all textbooks in all subjects. The moment your exercise book gets filled, you just go to the headmaster and he'll give you a new one. He doesn't collect the old one. He'll give you a new one. The same in secondary school. So I went to secondary school in 1971, government secondary school, Kazaure, and life was good. That was when we got exposed to reading novels, like the series published by the West African Heinemann publishers. It was called West African African Writers Series. Yes, educated Africans were commissioned by Heinemann publishers to write storybooks. That's how Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Sepremi Akwansi, that's how they wrote their books and they became popular. And we were always eager to read all those books. And any book that you didn't have and you couldn't buy, you ask your friends if they have that book, and then you exchange. You know,
you give them one book,
that they haven't read, and you take one that you haven't read from them.
How fun was it? How exciting was it?
It was very, very exciting in the sense that there were few kids that were engaged in that kind of thing. So you are like the stars, you know, amongst friends. You know, and it was exciting. You always want to finish one book, and on the back of the back cover of each book was a list of all the books published by the publishing company. So any book you finish, you will take it. So your objective was to make sure that you finish all those books. So anybody that could not finish all those books, you are ahead of him. So everybody was trying.
There was this competition?
There was this competition for everybody to make sure that they finish all the series. And then by the time we finished those series, other books from foreign countries started coming, like James Hadley Chase you are talking about, like
Robert Ludlum?
No. James Hadley Chase, Nick Carter. Nick Carter. And then we were doing the same thing that we do in African Writers Series with Nick Carter and James Hadley Chase, trying to get all the series to read and ticking the back of it. In their own case, the inside of it. We will be taking them, and then you'll be borrowing from each other, and you'll be buying those that you can find, so that you have a collection of your books.
Right now, young people, instead of exchanging during your time books, they exchange movies. For example, I have, let's say I have an American TV series produced by Fox or NBC or any of the movie producing companies in the US. I have it. I would just say to my friend, I've got a new TV series. Let me send it to you. Give me the one that you have got.
But that's why there's no knowledge, because you really can't acquire so much knowledge from films as much as you acquire from books.
Some of those films that we watch, I'm sorry to use the word we, are like adaptation of the books that you have read. Like books written by...
They are all the same. All the same. Reading material is always different from its rendition in film and other things. Because as I said, reading is not just about the story itself, but about learning other things within the story.
Like?
You learn to write yourself. Because you know the structure of the language, you know where full stop, comma, punctuation marks are placed, you know how the page is structured, how paragraphs are made, you understand? And you learn, you acquire vocabulary, you understand? So reading enables you not only to, and it is able to speak also. You understand? Because you have acquired vocabulary.
Oh, yes.
You understand? You have acquired vocabulary. Yes. On the film, in film, it's not necessary that if you hear a word, you quickly turn to the dictionary to check the meaning.
It's impossible.
But if you are reading a novel, you know, and you come across a word that you don't know, what do? You check your dictionary, and that word sticks in you. So you acquire a lot of vocabulary. You are able to speak, to express yourself. You are able to express yourself in writing. Reading gives you all these things.
I can remember one of the ways that I followed in learning punctuation marks was reading articles written by one. At that time he was working for the BBC service, and he's now the head of Trust Radio, Muhammad Kabir Muhammad. I have to use this medium to thank him for that. In 2016, when I was about to finish secondary school, I used to follow the American politics, Trump issues, Brexit, and so on and so forth. After I had listened on the radio, I would ask him, what could you say about this and that? He would compose very beautiful articles, well-structured articles, and send it to me. He didn't know. It was recently I was telling him that when reading his articles, I used to take note of where he put comma, full stop, and other punctuation. And that really, that has justified your point.
Yeah, sure.
Learning how to read
completely different. It's completely different from watching film. You know, what it gives you is and in any case, in any case, the person who is reading a book, if you are reading a book now and I'm watching film, I'm more likely to be carried away by something else, away from the film. Then you will be carried away from your books
that you are reading.
The book that you are reading.
Definitely.
So you'll concentrate more, and in fact, reading itself trains people to concentrate. If you sit for a whole 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours concentrating on one book, that trains you to concentrate in whatever you are doing. And it doesn't make you, unsettled or jittery or whatever. Even if you are attending a conference, you'll find that you are more likely to be patient enough to listen throughout the conference of 3 hours than somebody who doesn't read. So it gives you a lot of things. We're not discussing advantages of reading knowledge, but this is just a few of them that we can.
These are lessons that young people should learn from your life, from your childhood, for example, if I can put it this way. Well, I think we are very much running out of time. We have to close the first episode, and when we come back for the second episode, we will definitely transition into your adulthood and
to the
university. Yes, definitely, and how you are able to go to the UK and work for the BBC. I'm interested. Thank you very much indeed, Alhaji Adamu Aliyu Kiyawa. Viewers, this is an exclusive episode of The Headliner with Alhaji Adamu Aliyu Kiyawa, Dan Masanin Dutse, and we have talked a lot about his life and some of the life lessons that you, especially young people, should learn and emulate from him. My name is Umar Isa Dandago. We are finishing the first episode, and when we come back for the second episode, the conversation continues.